Hi there, everyone. They asked me what I would like, what would be a good follow-up for the talk which we had on Magha Puja when we learned about the heart of Buddhism, or the three practices which are the mainstay of how to practice to be a good Buddhist. And that time we learned about refraining from bad stuff, doing only good stuff, and purifying the mind. And I expanded that into three practices, which are to be generous, to keep the precepts, and to meditate. And today they asked me to go into a little bit more detail on this. So I was going to expand from 3 into 10, which you'll hear about more in just a minute. But what I would like to do for the moment before we get to that point is I was thinking to myself, does that mean that there's only 10 things that are any good for us to do in our life? Because most of the ones on my list probably have got not much meaning for any of you lot, because what are you all doing with your lives? You're probably studying very hard, trying to be dutiful sons or daughters to your parents, helping to clean up the house, not getting in trouble, this sort of thing. And I don't see that on the list of all the good deeds in life so far. Does this mean that having ambition in life and trying to get ahead in your studies, or avoid being a massive disappointment to your parents, does this mean that it's not worth doing and we should only do these 10 things? And what I think I should say by way of explanation is that when they asked me to choose the title of this, and I said choose the best things in life, is there's good and there's best, okay? And many of the things in your life which you do every day are all good, and you should keep on doing them, because all these things, if you do them, then it will put you in a position where you have that free time and the freedom and the choice available to you to do those best things in life as well. Because if you cannot stand on your own 2 feet, and if you're worrying about poverty and hardship in your life, and your life is a complete mess, then you can't really focus enough to do any of the good deeds which I'm going to talk to you about. The reason why I call them not just good but best is because they are well known to be things for generating something really important in our lives, which is like a positive energy. Sometimes it's called merit. For those of you who know Thai language, it's called bun or punya, which means a pure energy, which has a special effect in our lives. Some things in our life we think are under our control, down to our choices, but some things in our life, they are beyond our control. So like if a disaster comes, that's not under our control. If we fall ill, sometimes we trust a doctor is going to help us, but they cannot help in every case. There always is something else hidden behind the scenes which is helping in the background. And even in the same situation, the people who got more of this special energy in their lives, trouble seems to pass them by unscathed, leave them unscathed, whereas for other people, it may be very serious for them. So this special thing called merit is important. It's not maybe in the forefront of all our careers advice in our schools, but it's certainly important as well. And it's got some special qualities, this energy. And I'll show a slide with some of these things on. I'll go quickly, but these are some of the things that might turn up on a little quiz later on, so please try to pay some attention to them. This characteristics of this special energy is it turns up in our mind when we do something good. How do you know it's there? Because normally you have this special feeling inside you. It's like a warm, fuzzy feeling where you cannot help but feel happy and joyous about life, however life is treating you. You can store it up in your mind. If you do lots of good things, especially the best ones, which I'm going to be talking about in just a minute, then it really stores up in your mind. And if you're very good at meditation, sometimes you can not just feel it, but you can actually see it inside yourself as well. So what do we have? Let's expand from 3 to 10. And the official name for these in the Buddhist scripture is a Punya Kiriya Watu, which means the 10 ways to make merit in your life. So let's have a quick look at some of these, because maybe you do them already, but you didn't realize that the reason you're doing them is partly because it stores up this merit in your mind. First is to be a generous person, giving support, doing charitable work, not just by giving physical objects, like maybe the food. You see a little girl giving in the alms bowl of the monk, but even doing welfare work, social work, helping others out with advice or knowledge, helping them out with spiritual knowledge. Maybe you've talked a friend out of depression, then that would be counted as cheering up that person, as giving them spiritual help, and forgiving people, not letting the anger you have for them last overnight. Second thing, you don't actually have to do anything at all. It's more like an attitude of mind, is being a humble person, being a person who's not arrogant, being a person who's not answering back to your parents all the time, not being angry in disposition. Generally, this sort of person can absorb more goodness and knowledge from the people around them than a person who thinks that they are the greatest in the world. So even though you think you're the greatest in the world, as everyone probably does, you have to try to see the goodness in other people as well, to give them a chance to share some of that goodness with you. And this is called humility. A third one is helping other people. You might call it volunteering, but it means helping them to do good things, not helping them to rob a bank or something. That's not the sort of helping that will get you merit. But if you see someone doing something neutral or good, then to be able to help them out, some of that goodness will be shared on you. So any opportunity you have to help out with things, it doesn't need to be related to the temple, even helping around the house, doing your UG5s is also part of helping or serving. It's contributing to something larger than yourself. Transferring merit, you see the girl pouring water there. This is a little bit more difficult to understand, because generally we think that what we do is the good karma that comes back to us. But in some cases, especially in a funeral situation where someone we love has passed away, but we'd like to share the goodness we are doing for the benefit of them as well, then we would make the intention that those others who may have passed away, maybe they are spirits and ghosts that come to visit us at night. I don't know if some of you got experience of this. A lot of children have. That they will take some of your merit and not come back and disturb your sleep anymore. But in a funeral, we pour water as a symbol of the outpouring of our merits to those other people. And the fact that we're not clinging onto our merit, but we are able to share it with others, actually it increases the merits that we have. Because we're willing to share it, then the merit we have will also increase as well. And the other side of that is that we should be able to accept merit from other people. When we say Anumodana, or we say Sadhu, or really pleased for you that you managed to do that good deed, I rejoice in your merit, then because we are big-hearted enough to see that other people are doing good deeds and to acknowledge that, it also will add to our quality of mind and the positivity in our mind. It doesn't mean you should not also do good deeds of your own, because some people just hang around on the corner and say sadhu, sadhu to everyone, and they don't do any good deeds themselves. Well, you should do good deeds yourself, but you should also be big-hearted enough to congratulate other people when you see them doing something or getting something good in their life. And the next one, I think moving on to a slightly different flavor. We talked about keeping the 5 precepts last time as a way of earning merit. Normally we think about it as not doing something bad, but to maintain something like your integrity, it's like being careful to maintain something you already have, which is your boundaries and your integrity. It's like a balloon which you must shield from others, not let them stick a pin in it. So to maintain your precepts well, it is also a way of maintaining your merits. Yeah. And moving on to a last one, the expansion on what it means to meditate or work with the mind. Of course, there's meditation. I'm going to have some more of that in just a minute. but also reading the Dharma books or doing chanting is also included in this. Even these days, watching Dhamma on the Zoom channel would also be included in learning about spiritual knowledge. All of these are included in the definition of what it means to meditate in order to get merit. It actually builds up in something in your mind, and you can actually feel the difference very quickly. Listening to a Dhamma talk, like you're doing now, hopefully it will touch on a few things in your own life that you will want to improve upon. It's not just a Dhamma talk for entertainment, but actually to learn about yourself more and to see your own strengths and weaknesses more clearly. Watching DMC says there, I think it's now called DMZ because it's all gone on Zoom channel instead. Then it is a way to improve your knowledge of spiritual values. Sometimes if we are not so knowledgeable, then we can listen to other people talking about the Dhamma. We will learn a lot. But as we become more knowledgeable ourselves, sometimes we can share it with other people. And that's when that comes to the knowledge of sharing our knowledge with other people as well. Even encouraging other people to do good things or explaining questions to them. When they got questions, you can explain it clearly, then that ability of ours also gets merit for us. And last but not least, and generally anything that's the last in the list, in a Buddhist list, is the most important one. Ultimately, it will change our views. Maybe not a very good picture there, but I hope you get the idea that little by little, as we start to have more alignment with merits and the best sort of behaviors in our life, then it will reach inside of us and internalize with us until we change the way we think about the world and understand the world and make assumptions about the world. Our worldview will change. So we get out of the sort of greedy or hateful or just deluded ways of looking at the world, because from inside we are being purified and clarified by that special merit energy, which is increasing more and more inside ourselves. So in summary, there are three things. We learned last time about three different flavors of merit: generosity, self-discipline, and mental cultivation. You can see what I've talked about today, making it up to 10. It is actually just an expansion on those three. But the reason why we would like to be generous is that the merits of being generous will store up in the future, and it will ensure that we never experience hard times or a shortage of things that we want in our lives. Self-discipline will help to protect our health and our appearance so that both are good. And last but not least, mental cultivation will work in the background to ensure that we are not the sort of person who is gullible or easily duped by other people. We will see through to the truth of things much more easily as a result of that merit. So merit, it is one thing, but sometimes it comes in different flavors, and this is why it's good to cover all the bases by doing at least one of each of these things every day if we can, in order to try to cultivate the best things in our lives alongside the good things that we are already doing in our lives. So a lot of talking about merits. What I'd like to do now is to go a little bit deeper on the mental cultivation side.